Hello and welcome back to Game Brigade. My name is Bryan, and today we're going to be talking about whether or not you should be backing Scholars of the South Tigris by Garfield Games. I'm going to break down the mechanics, the theme, the overall thoughts about this game, and also talk about some important information if you are considering backing this game so you're fully aware of it. Stay tuned for that. Okay, so we are doing something new, by the way, for this campaign. Just a little bit of heads up before we get there. I'm going to be starting to cover more should you back games on campaigns that have reached a certain backer number. Now, I haven't figured out if that backer number is going to be 2,000 or 3,000. Obviously, Scholars has already hit the threshold that I'm kind of playing with, but I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. So before we dive into this, take a second, leave a comment, let me know if you would either see more should you backs, which would be closer to the 2,000 mark, or more, refined picks or more curated picks at the 3,000 mark or a certain other number. Let me know in the comment section down below. So let's talk about Scholars of the South Tigris. This is the second game in the trilogy that will be the South Tigris trilogy. And Scholars is diving into a very fun, unique dice bag building, dice placement, worker placement, action selection game. We'll be talking about that a little bit more, but if you haven't, the video here is an incredible video that you can watch that'll give you a really good rundown of the full system. It's one of the type of things I always talk about in terms of Kickstarter things that I like or don't like. If you have a video that engages me and teaches me the game, I love it. So thank you for that. As we're looking at this campaign, we're going to be talking about Garfield Games because they are very well known for their unique take in terms of crowdfunding. They're kind of against the mold of an average Kickstarter. Most Kickstarters like to show you miniatures. They like to have pledge managers, which is true. They like to have stretch goals and Kickstarter exclusives, things that are going to entice you to back the game. Well, Scholars in Garfield Games, rather, they take a little different approach to this. They like to come and say, we're going to present to you a fully complete game. Here it is. We are not going to hide anything behind any kind of stretch goals. We're not going to hide anything in terms of deceptive marketing. We are going to present our game to you in full in the hopes that you will want to bring it to life through a crowdfunding campaign. I think it's really cool, but it does take away some of the fun or excitement that some crowdfunding campaigns can have. Now, we are going to break down some of the costs of this and give you my thoughts in terms of the value. Should you back, should you not back it? We will get there. So the first thing I want to point out is kind of an important note. We're going to switch to a different Kickstarter page so you can see this a little better. I always recommend going to the FAQ section to check things out because there are some important things in this campaign I want you to take a note of. First, VAT is included, so if you're a EU or UK backer and you're wondering if you're going to be charged VAT later, it's not going to be charging. But there is no pledge manager. This is one of the first times I've seen this. It's been a long time since I've seen a campaign do zero pledge manager. So that means all of your shipping, all of your add-ons and everything will be completed in the Kickstarter campaign. Not very common that companies do this because Kickstarter takes a cut from their overall take as they're making this game. So a lot of times publishers will want to push it to the pledge manager where then they get a full stake of the money that they may get from add-ons or upgrades. So $1 pledges, which is usually my recommendation for backers, will not work here. So if this is a game you're interested in, you're going to have to pay the full amount up front as well as shipping or any add-ons you're going to do. How do I include add-ons? They answer this question here as well. You will be able to do it once you selected a reward tier. You can then add in specific add-ons if you would like. There are going to be some different type of versions, but they're specifically talking about the Canadian French version, and then that's about it. So those are the ones I wanted to talk about specifically in the FAQ that I thought was important to take a note of. Why back now? We already kind of talked about this. They're not going to be doing any type of crazy stretch goals or anything that's really kind of going to grab you, but they are going to be giving you for free, if you back it, the 2023 Kickstarter promo pack for free. I'm assuming this will be for sale if someone wants it, but by backing the campaign, that is a little bit of a thank you for that. You will receive your game before it comes to retail. This is huge for some people, not huge for others. I personally don't care if my games get to me prior to going to retail, as long as I get the game and the rewards that I was promised. That's really all that matters to me. Now, yeah, I'll get a little annoyed if it's like a year later, like I still haven't gotten it after a year, but if it's like 2 weeks or a month, which is a lot of the times what it is, not a big deal for me. But they are promising that you will get this game before anyone else does at a retail outlet. So if that's important to you, take a note. And then you're going to be buying from a company with a proven track record. That is true. Garfield Games has done a lot of Kickstarter campaigns. They've been very successful with their games. And they have kind of a really good following, kind of like Stonemaier Games. They have a really good following of their titles. So what is this game? What is the theme? What is the mechanics? And how do they kind of blend them all together? Well, this is a game that's going to be set in Baghdad back in like 830 AD. So this is a time when there was a lot of information trade. A lot of people were kind of meeting in together. And in this game, you are going to be playing kind of like a librarian or some kind of scholar who wants to try to bring in information and scrolls from all around the world, and you're going to be translating those scrolls into Arabic. Now, there's an interesting way you're going to do this. One of the mechanics of the game is you are going to be hiring these scholars who are going to be translating these scrolls to different languages. But there's a really cool mechanic where you might have a Chinese scroll, which you need a Chinese translator, but maybe he translates only to Greek. So you need to hire a Greek translator who will translate that into Italian, and then you have, whatever, and then you can finally translate that into Arabic. You're going to have to figure out these paths and these, Syriac, here we go, here's some options, like Persian. You're going to have these paths you're going to have to try to get to as you try to get to an Arabic translation. It's really cool. I love the way that they're kind of blending that theme in with the whole story of the mechanics of the game, because that's really kind of an interesting thing. A lot of Euros will throw a theme out there, but they don't really know how to blend in the theme of the game into the mechanics of the story. So I think they're doing a really cool job with that. There's other things that are about this that are pretty cool. It's a dice placement bag building game. So you're going to be drawing these dice. Let me see if I can see an example. They don't have any examples. Here we go. You're going to be getting some dice, and these dice come in different colors. But when you place these dice on different worker location spots, their matter, but their color, their matter, their number, and their color also will matter. So if an action requires a certain color or they do certain things, you'll be placing a certain color, but you can actually place two different dice and combine those colors to make a new color. Or you could place a worker to change the value of that number or change the color of a die. There's a lot of interesting mechanics going on through this whole dice placement. Again, I would highly recommend watching this video up here if you have any questions in relation to the dice placement, the color changing aspects, because there's quite a bit of stuff going on with that. So overall, you're going to be placing your worker or your dice. You're going to be doing different types of actions, and eventually you are going to be having to draw things from this draw bag, which is going to be your dice, as you do different types of things. It's a pretty interesting system, and it seems like kind of a crunchy, meteor system, which is great. Now, in terms of the Board Game Geek weight system, this kind of puts it in line with Paladins. So if you played any of the other Garfield games, you can kind of get an understanding of the weight of this system. But I have heard some people say that there's a lot of mechanics at play here, maybe a lot of stuff going on. So I'll make sure you watch a playthrough video. There are several playthrough videos for you to take a look at to see if this game is up to speed for you or if it's going to be something that will be fun for you going forward. So let's talk about the pledge levels, because I think that's going to be the most important part as we discuss the overall costs of this game. So we're going to come down here to the reward levels. First off, they're going to be placing, most of the values are in New Zealand dollars. Now, they do have some currency for US and Euro, but there's no pound translations. So you need to make sure you take a look at your own personal converter for your country and see what the conversions may be. But for the base game, we're looking at 44 US dollars. Now, this does not include shipping. We'll cover shipping in a second. But this will get you the base game as well as the promo pack. Now, you can do an upgrade if you want to get some of these metal coins. Everyone loves metal coins. I'm kind of getting kind of torn with them because it's so hard to keep buying metal coins for, individual games. But I'm also not a person who's just going to buy coins and then move them all around to my different games. So it's kind of hard. So I'm kind of like unsure where I personally sit with coins. But metal coins do not really generate much of a resale value. These are going to be more for you in terms of your placement. But if people are going to buy this game from you, if you're ever going to say this game is not for me and I want to sell it and move on, I have seen that the coins don't generally carry as much value as just the base game in general. Same thing with sleeves and stuff. Some people will value things like sleeves or metal coins or special inserts. Inserts a little bit more valuable. But a lot of times people are not going to give you the value that you paid for. It's kind of like when you upgrade your car and you put some stuff in it. You don't get your labor of love back as much as you would just the base game or base product. So take a note of that. Now, they have a South Tigris all-in, but this is basically going to include just a promo pack from the 22 Kickstarter promo, the metal coins we talked about, but it's also going to be including Wayfarers of the South Tigris. So if you're looking to kind of build out the trilogy, there will be one more game, I believe, in 2024 that you're going to be able to add in. But this is kind of starting if you want to, basically start that trilogy now. That's an option. The costs here, we have $44 for the Scholar, $57 for the Coin Scholar, and the South Tigris all-in is a 100 USD. So kind of splitting down the middle at $50 a piece, but you are also getting the coins and the promo packs with that as well. So it's not too bad of a deal if you're overall looking to get the full collection. Now, in terms of the value, are we looking at something that is going to be worth the money? I can say that this is pretty good in terms of the overall costs. When I go in and look for Wayfarers on Boardlandia or Miniature Market, you're going to roughly see that cost between $42 and $44. So this puts it roughly at the same price there. But you're going to have to pay shipping with them unless you get your shipping totals above their threshold. Usually it's going to be like $95 or $100. Here you are going to have to pay shipping. But that could be either or. You're going to be spending more money but getting free shipping. So that's one thing to take a note of when you're looking at purchasing this from a retail outlet. Now, of course, if you buy it from your local game store, there is no shipping because you're just going to go to the store. But make sure you're aware of that as well. Let's go on down to the shipping rates, though, because this is going to give you that breakdown in terms of what that cost might look like. So we already know that's going to be $44 for that base product when we're looking at US dollars. Here we can see that the shipping rates are going to be 20 New Zealand dollars. According to the conversion rates right now, when I did them, they're about roughly $12. That's actually a pretty good price. That's really what it would cost to ship this game. So they're pretty on point there in terms of their overall shipping costs. So if you were to ship this to a friend or, within the continental US, you roughly expect to pay about $12 to $15 anyways. So I think that's a pretty good price. So overall, you're going to be looking to pay about $60 for this game. I think it's a pretty fair price, but again, it's going to be hard to see this as a return on your value because people could wait till retail, and then if you find that this game is not really for you, then selling it on the secondhand market, you're going to have to take a hit, unfortunately. But most likely this game is going to be pretty good and pretty good of a hit if you are into these type of placement games with the dice placement, the Euro style games, with a game that's also more ingrained with the theme as well. So overall, what are my thoughts on Garfield Games and this Scholars of the South Tigris? I think that the game looks pretty good. I'm pretty intrigued. Now, I've talked about this in several other videos. I've never played a Garfield game myself. I want to play them. There's something that I'm striving to go out and do, but I haven't gotten a chance to play any of them. Maybe this will be my first one. I was kind of thinking about Paladins might be my first one. We'll find out. But overall, I'm very intrigued with what I saw in some of those videos, some of those playthrough videos. So might be worth checking out. Overall, I think the value is fair, but I wouldn't say that this is going to be a totally safe back in terms of getting your money back if this is not something that you're looking for long term. So with that, I'm going to wrap up the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Also, please don't forget to leave a comment based on the thoughts of doing these videos every time we hit a certain backer amount. Maybe 3,000, 4,000, 2,000, whatever it may be. My initial thought was 2,000, but then there's a lot of campaigns that I'm not really sure are worth covering at 2,000 backers. So that's kind of why I was like, maybe I'll do 3. but then that really kind of slows them down. So I'd like to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Let me know in the comment section down below. As a follow-up, I'm also going to be at Dice Tower West. That's going to be in just a few days. So if you guys are going to be there, make sure you stop by and say hi. I would love to play games with you. Anyways, this is Bryan from Game Brigade. I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.